Hey, what's going on, guys? Doing a video. Gonna go over some of the pros and cons between the Delta 8 vape pen and Delta 8 flower. So, some of these are going to, of course, be kind of obvious, um, just simply by design. Hold on. So, start off with the vape pen. One of the obvious ones for pros on the vape pen would, of course, be it's very discreet. Um, can pretty much smoke this just about anywhere. It doesn't actually smell like weed. It actually, well, this cartridge smells like blueberry. The name of this one is Blueberry OG. I bought it from Dr. Strain's CBD. And taste-wise, it's not very strong on taste, but it is on the smell, on the exhale. It does definitely smell like blueberry. So you can pretty much smoke this just about anywhere. There is no prep to this, so you don't have to actually clean the flower. There is no rolling a joint, packing a bowl, packing a bong, whatever you smoke from. But there is, of course, charging, which is one of the cons, which I will get into in a second. Doesn't take much. So between, say, 3 and 6 hits is about all that's needed for you to get a good body high going. It doesn't take much at all. I don't know how long the cartridge is going to last me, but I can tell you per session. Now, that is going to vary person to person. I usually take a few hits, and I'm usually good for at least an hour, maybe two. Everybody's going to vary in that sense. But to get a body high going, it doesn't take but a few hits. Now, going back to the cons, the charging is a con. I don't know if there is a way to know when your battery is getting low. I have seen others where this will actually flash red instead of blue when you push in the button. So I don't know if that is, if this one has that feature. I'm sure it probably does. But you can run out of battery, which, of course, if you don't have a backup battery, you can't actually smoke anything unless you have a alternative like having flour or something like that as a backup. Otherwise, you're pretty much shit out of luck. So that is definitely a con to it. It can be harsh. Now, I'll show you real quick. I'm not coughing, I'm not choking, okay? Some of these guys that do dabs, I know that, I think to myself, wow, don't that look like fun when they're sitting there friggin' hawking up their lungs from the friggin' dab they just took. But everybody has different ways of smoking. So it's not super harsh. Now, it can be harsh though. Like if you're taking a bunch of hits at one time, taking a hit, taking a hit, taking a hit. I did do that one time, and my lungs did start to hurt. Now, I don't know if that's simply because of the vape itself. I do know that that used to also happen with the nicotine vapes. Because I did, when these were first coming out and becoming popular, I did try to quit smoking with them, and it just didn't end up working for me. So I still smoke cigarettes, as you can see. But, so it can definitely be harsh, depending on how quickly you take the hits. Like me right now, if I was just sitting back smoking, I would take another hit, which I might just do. So they can break. This is a glass cartridge, so if you drop it or something, it can break. And once again, if you don't have a backup cartridge, shit out of luck. Otherwise, this is a pretty well-built piece, in all honesty. It has the mouthpiece and everything on it. Now, I haven't vaped in a while, so, as far as I know, this could be pretty much the norm these days. So, I'm not super accustomed to vaping. So that's really pretty much the pros and cons. It's discreet. There's no prep. Doesn't take much. Cons, it has to be charged. Can run out of battery. It can be harsh, and it can break. For the flower, one of the most obvious is it's the traditional way of smoking weed. I mean, it's always come as a flower in the sense of the vape, even though they're technically not new anymore. In comparison, these are still very much new. This is the more traditional way of smoking. So if you are accustomed to smoking flower, even before switching over to hemp, if that's how you came into it, if hemp is the first thing that you tried, whatever the reason may be, you know, it is the more traditional way of smoking. The high, I would, you know, that's going to vary person to person. In my opinion, however, I would say that the flower does actually get you a bit better of a high. They both do give you a body high, don't get me wrong. So, put that up real quick. So, to kind of better describe what I'm talking about, for one, a pro to the flower is you have more variation. You can make a salad, like in this instance, I highly recommend this salad. It's cherry abacus and fruity pebbles. This makes a really, really good salad. Really good stuff, gets you a really good body high. Now, these have CBDs in them. They have this is Delta 8, this isn't, so it does have the Delta 8 as well, you know, and all these other different, what people call terpenes, okay? I'm not super into that, but I do look at the percentages when I'm deciding on a product I want to buy. Of course, you try and go for the higher percentages. So that, I mean, that does kind of play into the better high, I think, because you're getting more than just the Delta 8, I guess, because technically this here is 93% Delta 8 THC, is what they claim on the website. I'm not a chemist, I have no way of testing that, so I mean, I don't think they would really have any reason to lie on that, but I mean, that seems to be pretty common, about 90% anyway for these cartridges. So I mean, that's 93 is definitely high. But the body high, I mean, let me know what you think in the comments. If you think the vape pen, and you've tried them both, you think this produces a better high, let me know in the comments below. Like I said, it's going to vary person to person. If I was going to, you know, talk about which one I feel it has the better body high, I would say this here, only because there is more variation to it. Cost-wise, which is the better cost? So Fruity Pebbles is one of the less expensive, if not the least expensive, Delta 8 strain that Dr. Strain's CBD has on their website. This is $20 for half an ounce. They did have, I think Bubba Kush, for example, was one. It was like $35 for the ounce. They had Moon Rocks for $45, which I didn't end up getting the Moon Rocks. I did just re-up. I'm not really going to go into why I didn't purchase the Moon Rocks, because if I did so, it would kind of sound like I'm trying to bash it, and that really wouldn't be what I'm trying to do. So I'm not going to go into why I didn't end up purchasing that, like I said I was going to. But the cart is $20 on Dr. Strain's, and you get a half ounce of Fruity Pebbles for $20. Now this, like I said, is the least expensive. If you're buying, say, like I said, the Bubba Kush, it is going to be $35 for half an ounce. So it is going to cost you more up front as far as which one is, you know, more cost up front. But as far as cost in the long run, which one is, say, better bang for your buck? I don't know how long this is actually going to last yet. I haven't had it long enough. I've only had it for a couple days. If I was going to guess, now I'm not strictly only smoking from the vape pen. If you are, of course, that once again is going to play in how long it lasts, how often you smoke, all that sort of thing. If I was going to guess, I would say probably about 4 to 5 days. And that's if I was to smoke a few hits every couple hours. That would be my guess, okay? I don't know how much juice is left in here, if that actually signifies how much smoke you still have left if, because this isn't what I'm accustomed to. When I did these, it was actually nicotine, and I do know that this would actually empty out. I don't know if it's going to do the same thing with this, only because this is a lot thicker compared to the nicotine, which was very liquid, okay? This is almost the consistency of molasses. Uh, if you tip it and stuff, it don't even move. It's that thick. So I don't know if it's just going to continuously get thicker, you know what I'm saying? So there's still going to be that left. I don't know exactly that end of it yet because I haven't gotten that far with it yet. Once again, with the flower, it doesn't take much. That is, once again, going to vary depending on how much of a high you're trying to get. I mean, technically, you could take even just a couple hits and get a really good body high. I was actually smoking a joint yesterday on my way back from the park, and I took maybe 5 or 6 hits and I put it out, and I was already pretty stoned, in all honesty. And that was by making a salad between these two, which I really recommend. I can't recommend it enough. That was a very potent salad. So once again, it doesn't take much. I mean, technically, it only takes a few hits to actually get the body high. If you're really trying to get zonked, you're just sitting at home. I mean, technically, you can smoke as much as you want. You can do the same thing with this, technically. But to actually get a body high going, it doesn't take much at all. So there is no charging, obvious, but there is prep. You have to clean it, which falls under cons, okay? So con to this is you do have to charge it. Obviously, there's no charging to this, but you do have to clean it. You do have the expense of papers if you're smoking by joint, which it's not a super cost, but it is still a cost nonetheless. So that is a con on the flower, is the prep. Also the odor. Obviously, it's going to smell like weed. There's really no way of being discreet with this product. With the vape pen, it is discreet in itself entirely. I actually took it to the park with me and was able to smoke it inside the park, and no questions asked, got through security, everything. Very easy. So the odor is definitely a con. It can also be harsh. The Fruity Pebbles, I think it's because of the oil they add to it, because that's how you get the Delta 8, because it doesn't occur naturally. They have to spray it with oil. That's probably why it's a little bit harsh, because, for example, the Cherry Abacus from a pipe, I don't have the same problem that I did with the Fruity Pebbles. I found that it did get harsh the more you smoke it. Smoking from a joint, though, I did not have that problem. From a bong, I don't have a bong. I don't smoke from a bong. I have in the past, but I didn't really care for it, in all honesty. And it can also break. If you roll say a joint and you have it in your pocket, it can break. However, if you have a bowl with you, you can technically still smoke, unlike the vape pen, okay? You can drop your bong. A lot of times they're made of glass. Pretty much always made of glass. So if you drop your bong, you are without the bong, okay? This can be replaced much less expensively than replacing a bong. So, I mean, that is technically also a con, is that this can also break. But you can smoke this much easier. I mean, when I was a kid, we made bongs, well, bowls, bongs, whatever, out of just about anything. We would take a soda can and, you'd make a dent in it, poke some holes, throw your weed on top of that, and you would use that to smoke. I mean, we would make bongs out of plastic bottles where you would take the aluminum foil, put it into the top, you push your finger down in there, it gives you your little bowl. Once again, poke some holes, pop a hole in the side of your container, put a straw in it, and you got yourself a little bowl. So, I mean, there's so many different ways that you can get around if you had a joint and it broke in your pocket, because technically you still have the flower that's in the joint. Unlike this, you are gonna end up losing what's inside of the cartridge. And even if you don't, the crack is probably going to mess with how it actually works. So once again, you're a shit out of luck. Once again, that's kind of an obvious one, but I tried to think of as many pros and cons between these two products for some of you guys that maybe can't decide which one is going to be better in your case. If you are a more traditional smoker like me, I grew up smoking flower, I would prefer the Fruity Pebbles in all honesty. Yeah, there's cons to it, but like when I'm at home by myself, I would be more apt to smoke the flower than to sit there and vape. Now, if you're more accustomed to vaping, that's something that you've always done, you might be more apt to choose the vape pen, so that's all going to kind of fall just under personal preference, of course. But I just want to kind of go over some of the pros and cons, maybe help some of you that are deciding which one you want to actually purchase and try out first. And yeah, if you like the video, make sure to like, subscribe. Once again, comment below, let me know which one you think is better when it comes to high. If you've been smoking this for a little while, how long did it last you? Things like that. It does take about 2 hours for this to charge. I don't know if I had mentioned that. And like, subscribe, hit the little bell. I do have more videos coming in. And then you get notified when I drop more videos. And hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Till next time, peace.